Hello, fellow heathens. Back in 2013, I pre-ordered a game called Demonicon. If I'm not mistaken, my 20-year-old self was craving a solid action RPG back then, and just like a struggling pedophile, I succumbed to my desires. Calypso Media Digital, responsible for publishing this masterpiece, says that Demonicon is a thrilling action role-playing game. It tells the tragic story of a brother and sister who become pawns of sinister forces in a world of cruelty and depravity. Of course, what they don't tell you is that it's a shitty game. Wouldn't sell well, you know? Over 3 weeks have passed since I released my last video. I've been keeping busy with Horizon Zero Dawn, which was originally going to be the topic of my next video. Then I got distracted by the darkest dungeon until I had an epiphany. Why not waste my very limited spare time and play a game I already know is terrible, as I had tried playing it twice in the past? Let's dig into the abomination that is the Dark Eye. Demonicon. Let me just quickly clarify, I am not making up any part of this review. What you will hear me say is what actually happens in the game. You play as Chiron, a strapping young lad who really wants to fuck his sister. You learn this in the first hour, by the way. The game starts with you and your father discussing many things, one of which is your sister's virginity. Later on in the game, you find out she's not your real sister. But up until then, both you and she believe you are siblings, so it doesn't change shit. The first quest you need to complete as Chiron the Kinky is to save your sister from the cannibal of Moloch Mountain. Only thing is, before you get to him, it is your belief that Calandra, your sister, ran away with some guy to have him penetrate her hymen in order to become unworthy of marrying folk of Areva. Back to the cannibal who exhibits aggression by growling. But don't just take my word for it. Enjoy the entire boss fight in all its glory.
You sick bastard!
I'm gonna chop your head off so you never eat again.
Did you like that? Good, because the game is full of these epic and tense battles, which you will have to suffer through just as I had while playing this mess of a game. During my 10-hour romance with Demonicon, I realized that the inspiration for this game was that 2011 Dragon Age 2. Slowly jogging, as there is no sprinting, through the same drab environments back and forth, fighting the same kinds of enemies all the time. The only differences between the two games are that one of them at least looked good and was generally enjoyable to play despite its many flaws. Graphics are up next, my dudes. For 2008, this game looks pretty good. Only issue is, it came out in 2013, which means it looks rather outdated. While the main characters and some environments look okay-ish, the rest does not. Just look at these facial animations. Definitely worth my hard-earned cash. $40 to be exact. While I have bought games that I didn't like or even play, this abortion of a video game was the costliest mistake by far. My, what a vivacious temptress of the night. Let us now discuss enemy variety. For the first 6 hours or so, you will fight against an exciting amount of different foes, such as City Guard, Elite City Guard, lizards, overgrown hedgehogs, and zombies. If this doesn't convince you to never buy Demonicon, check this out. When a battle begins, the game automatically places invisible walls around you to prevent effective crowd control, which, if you ask me, is a great mechanic, and it should definitely be used in more action RPGs. Quick detour. Unlike most functional video games, Demonicon says fuck you and doesn't let you cancel actions, to my knowledge at least. Here is a perfect example. There is a chest on the ground, right there. There is also a sketchy looking guy guarding it, right here. When attempting to loot the chest, I was unable to walk away without looting it, and I was forced to fight for my dear life. Let me make something clear before I go any further.
My wife will be silent when I demand it.
While combat is just awful, the one thing I have to say I did appreciate was the fact that magic regenerates with each successful attack you perform, meaning you don't have to chug potions constantly to cast spells. Now, time for another boss fight. A terrible necromancer has taken over a temple, and Chiron is the only one powerful enough to challenge him.
Chiron, I have been expecting you.
How do you know my name?
You won't need a name where you're going. Get ready to face the Dark Mother.
Quests are awfully uninteresting. Go pick something up and bring it back to me. That's how you spend the majority of your time in Demonicon if you're not fighting the same fucking creature for the 1000th time. Hold on just a second, guys. I gotta go heal a whore. In most games of such nature, there is this thing called save. Saving, for those of you who never played any good video games, is a feature that, get this, allows you, the player, to save progress at any time and quit or die without having to redo portions of the game. The developers of Demonicon must have been unable to implement such a complicated feature in their game, and so if you die unexpectedly, chances are you will be picking up all those fucking plants you have already picked up about 5 or 10 minutes ago, again. When I got to the Kreuzer Alley, which by the way reminds me a lot of the bandit/hooker district of Vizima in The Witcher, I spent about 10 minutes carefully examining the district, picking up plants and looting. Eventually, as I was almost finished exploring, I fell victim to a trap. And guess what? My progress was not saved, and I had to stare at Chiron's decrepit body run through the entire fucking district again.
There are also some strange rumors about the services offered there. Disgusting rumors, if you ask me.
Tell me.
Let's say the girls there are maybe not as full of life as they could be.
Who in all the hells would pay for that kind of service?
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hang on there, mister. You want to fuck your own sister. I don't think you get to decide what's moral and what's not. Honestly, the dialogue in this game is excruciatingly boring, and the fact that every single NPC you can speak to has something to say about the same subject is infuriating. Imagine speaking to a person about sausages, then going off and speaking to another person about sausages. Then, after 5 minutes, you find yet another person, and you ask them about sausages again. That's what the dialogue is like in Demonicon.
A little greeting for Calandra, perhaps. When I see her again, I could always shove a little souvenir into her mouth.
Father, I love Chiron.
You don't know what you're saying. And I love her.
You are insatiable, mighty warrior.
It is at this point in writing of the script that I realize it could be fun to read some of the Metacritic reviews. Mr. Cash wrote on the 7th of November. Demonicon is a game with a lot of heart, built on a solid and well-balanced combat system. The creators crafted a compelling narrative filled with interesting characters, rated 9 out of 10. Apoda says that if you're not too unforgiving and you're willing to let the game show its potential, it really turns out to be a well-made RPG with a broad skill tree and a story that becomes more and more interesting towards the end. And finally, my man 4players.de, who knows what he's talking about. Their dialogue is below daily soap standards. Their fighting system as superficial as any. Visuals outdated. This is gruesome. I went into this game thinking I will finish it for the sake of this video, but with every hour my sanity was being drained by the awfulness I was forcing myself to endure. As George Carlin would say, you will honestly have more fun watching flies fuck than you will playing Demonicon. If I were rich, I would buy the rights to this game and take it off the market so that nobody has to go through what I went through. I would also find the guy responsible for creating this garbage and make him play through it all the way to the end in one sitting. Forget the Russian sleep experiment. I would like to lock people up in a tiny room and just watch what happens to their brain after being exposed to Demonicon for one whole week. I would like to award the Dark Eye Demonicon a Never Play Me award, which by looking at the Hippocrates conversion chart translates to 1 incestuous relationship with your sister out of all the time I have wasted on making this video. That's it for today, this week, and hopefully not this month. Take it easy, stay safe out there, and for the love of God, don't buy or even pirate this game.
Do that at least once before I marry Frank.
It was wonderful.
That was the plan, you know. And now?
Well, no one's watching.